August 25, 2001. A signal was lost over the Bahamas. No one knew what truly happened next. A star had just left the island, her laughter echoing minutes before silence swallowed it. Every second that night carried a weight no one could measure. Some said they heard a roar, others a scream, but records only show static. Her name was Aaliyah, and her story didn't end when the plane hit the ground. They said the sky looked normal that day, but something felt off. No distress call, no warning, just silence. Rumors rose faster than answers. Was it fate or failure? Behind the spotlight was a life too bright to last. This is not just a crash story, it's a question that never stopped haunting the sky. She was called the Princess of R&B, a sound both soft and strong, a voice that reshaped the rhythm of her time. By 22, Aaliyah had done it all: albums, films, fashion. She was more than famous, she was the future. In August 2001, she left for the Bahamas to film a music video that would complete her next album, Rock the Boat. The crew called it a dream shoot, one last creative rush before the next chapter. No one could imagine that paradise would soon become the site of heartbreak. August 25, 2001, the sun burned bright over Abaco. The island was alive, unaware that history was counting down its final minutes. They arrived early that morning, the air heavy with salt and promise. For Aaliyah, it felt like a dream wrapped in sunlight. They filmed all day, every frame drenched in gold. It was her vision brought to life, calm, pure, effortless. The team was small but tight, bonded through hours of sun, salt, and sound. She radiated calm, tired but glowing. There was something serene, almost timeless about her that day. As night fell, she lingered for a while alone with the sound of waves. It was as if the island was whispering something only she could hear. By evening, the video was done, the work complete. Everyone just wanted to go home. It was 6 p.m., the shoot had ended early, and the team wanted to get back to Miami. A small charter plane waited under the tropical dusk. The equipment, heavy and numerous, was never meant for such a small craft. The weight exceeded the plane's limits by hundreds of pounds. Luis Morales, just 30 years old, was confident but new to the aircraft. He had logged few hours on this model and little experience with heavy loads. As the engines started, the vibrations filled the air. To most, it sounded like routine, but to mechanics on the ground, it felt strained. Aaliyah arrived quietly, exhausted from the long day. She just wanted to get home, trusting those around her that everything was fine. 8 passengers and the pilot boarded, some carrying hand luggage, others filming with small camcorders, documenting the end of a beautiful trip. Inside, space was tight. The plane's nose dipped slightly under the uneven load, a sign that went unnoticed. A ground worker tried to intervene, urging the pilot to offload equipment, but the request was denied. The team was eager to leave. At 6:44 p.m., the Cessna began to taxi. The engines hummed, the runway stretched ahead, and no one inside knew the weight of fate was already sealed. Inside the cockpit, pilot Luis Morales performed a quick instrument check: oil pressure, fuel levels, flaps. Everything seemed normal, but the numbers were lying. The engines throttled to maximum. The plane began its takeoff roll, heavy, sluggish, fighting against physics. At 6:45 p.m., the aircraft reached the end of the runway. It lifted briefly, only a few feet off the ground, wobbling under the weight. Investigators would later learn the plane's balance was fatally off, too much weight at the rear. The nose pitched upward, airflow broke, and the climb failed. The right engine faltered under pressure. The aircraft yawed violently, left wing dipping toward the treeline. In seconds, the Cessna entered an aerodynamic stall, too slow, too heavy to recover. The pilot tried to correct, but the control yoke locked stiff. The plane struck the ground 200 feet from the runway, a flash of light, a thunderous echo, and silence. Rescue crews arrived within minutes, but there were no survivors. The impact and fire left no chance. The sky over Marsh Harbour fell silent again. What took years to build ended in less than 60 seconds. By dawn, investigators from the Bahamas Civil Aviation Department arrived. The wreckage was scattered across 200 feet, a scene of devastation. No flight recorder, no black box, just fragments of steel and scorched paper. The answers would have to come from the wreck itself. Early findings were clear: the plane was overloaded by several hundred pounds, too heavy for its size, too dangerous to lift. The pilot, Luis Morales, had only received his license weeks earlier. His employer's records raised questions: had he been fully qualified? The final report confirmed the unthinkable traces of alcohol and cocaine in the pilot's system. The man at the controls was impaired. Investigators turned to the airline Blackhawk International Airways. The company's license had been suspended before the flight. yet it continued operations illegally. As the truth emerged, outrage followed. Fans, family, and industry voices demanded justice. How could such negligence take a life so precious? The final verdict: the aircraft was overweight, the pilot unfit, and the flight unauthorized. A deadly chain of avoidable choices. On August 31, 2001, the world said goodbye. White doves rose into the sky, symbols of peace, grace, and the soul of Aaliyah returning home. Friends and collaborators Missy Elliott, Timbaland, Beyoncé mourned deeply. They lost not just a voice but a sister. From New York to Tokyo, her image became a symbol of youth, creativity, and innocence lost too soon. Her final album, released just weeks before her death, surged back to the top of charts, every lyric now a goodbye. Her sound became timeless, inspiring a generation of artists who grew up with her music as their blueprint. Beyond music, her style reshaped culture, blending strength, beauty, and confidence in ways that still define fashion today. Her loss wasn't in vain. New safety measures, tighter regulations, and public awareness followed. Each change a silent tribute. She was meant to act in major films, launch tour, and redefine her sound. The future she built left unwritten. Even after the music stopped, her light stayed. In rhythm, in memory, in the hearts of millions, Aaliyah lives on. She left too soon, but her music still takes flight.
This film was crafted with precision, every frame, every sound, every heartbeat to honor truth above drama. Behind every investigation, there are storytellers determined to make sure these lessons reach the skis once more. You've watched stories written in courage, loss, and discovery, each one a chapter in aviation's unending pursuit of safety. This has been a Crash Deck Diaries original, where every flight tells a story, and every story reminds us the sky remembers.